guys, today I'm going to show you guys how to make agua chile. So I have in my pan, I have all of the shrimp already peeled and butterflied and cleaned and washed, but I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So I'm going to start by peeling off the shrimp. These are large shrimp. And these are fairly nice size shrimp for agua chile. So I'm just gonna show you guys how I like to cut my shrimp for agua chile. So then after I have the peel off, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my knife, make sure it's a fairly sharp knife. You're gonna squeeze the top of the head. So you're gonna hold it with 2 fingers on this side and your thumb. And what I like to do is in the front, I like to butterfly it almost completely. And as I go along, all I'm gonna do is not push in the knife too deep. I'm gonna get to almost the tail, and it's gonna be a fairly not so deep cut. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start, and as I'm going towards the back, it's gonna be a light cut, and that's how it's gonna open. And then you just clean it off. I like to take a paper towel and just wipe it off on it. And I like to butterfly the front almost completely. Oops, sorry. So that's what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna show you guys one more time. You're gonna take it, you're gonna pinch, and then you're gonna go all the way down on the front. And as you're going closer to the tail, you're gonna go less and less in. And then usually it comes off fairly easy when you clean it. I just place it on the paper towel, and it usually comes off clean. So after I completely butterfly all my shrimp, that's when I wash them. I rinse them down in the sink and I wash them. I'm gonna go ahead and wash these and wash my hands. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move this to the side, and I'm gonna move my pan. Okay, so I have all of my shrimp here cleaned, washed, and dried. Make sure you guys have them really dry. You don't want a lot of water in there. I did these overnight, so they are completely dry. I just peeled them last night, and I cleaned them off and I washed them, and I just put them in a Ziploc bag and I put them back in the fridge. That would be the best way to do it if you guys don't have a lot of time the day before. The day of, I mean, then go ahead and clean and wash and prep your fish, your shrimp. So for that, I have a 1.5 cups of freshly squeezed lime juice. This is 2.5 pounds of shrimp. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add a cup to see how much. Okay, that's about a cup, to see how much more lime I need. But I feel like this is going to be enough. You want them to be fairly covered in the lime juice. So to that, I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of minced garlic. Not so much because the juice is gonna have garlic. So then cover that up, put that aside. I'm gonna take some pepper and I'm gonna pepper it, sorry. I'd say about 2 teaspoons. I'm gonna take my salt and I'd say it's about the same, 2 teaspoons. You are gonna need a little bit more salt later on as you're making your dish. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mix. If you can find a flatter pan, this one's not so flat as you guys can see, but since I'm taking this to go, I wanted to make it in this pan. But try to find one that's a lot longer, so you can sit your shrimp fairly flat so they can cook faster. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash my cutting board so I can start with that onion. Okay, so I'm gonna put my shrimp to the side and let it cook for a little bit. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to my cutting board is clean, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push the shrimp down. It's gonna take, I'd say, about 5 to 6 minutes for them to cook. You don't wanna, they're not gonna fully cook, they're just gonna semi-cook. They're gonna be somewhat raw, but be sure to if your pan isn't flat enough, be sure to mix it around every minute or so. That way they all the shrimp get the lime juice. So I mixed it around and I'm just pushing it down. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab a red purple onion and I'm gonna start chopping them down. So I washed my knife. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it down the middle, and then I'm gonna cut one end off. Put that aside. And peel it off. You can use any type of onion that you like, but I think that the red one is the most common one used in this dish, and I feel like with the lime juice, this onion is not so harsh. It actually gets sweeter as it's being pickled with the lemon. So I would suggest you guys use this onion, since it's a lot, it won't be as bitter once it gets cooked with the lemon. The lime. Okay. I'm gonna remove this little, I don't know if you guys can see the little yellow part. I don't really like to see that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do fairly thin slices because you want the onion to cook with the lemon. So I'm not gonna make them that thick. I add the onion right as soon as the shrimp is about to be cooked to my choice, because I want the onion to actually be cooked as well with the lime juice. So I like to put it right after I add the lime juice to the shrimp. It's fairly quiet at my house. It's early in the morning and everybody's still sleeping. I can hear my son waking up, my toddler. Okay, so I'm gonna remix the shrimp. They look about done. Once you see that they're turning pink, that's when you want to mix them around so you can get the other shrimp cooked. But for the most part, this is what you guys want them to look like. See the pink color on them? This is what you want. So basically they're almost, once you see white on your shrimp, it means they're almost cooked completely. So this is why you want to mix your shrimp around. So since it's about to be done, I'm gonna take my red onion. I'm gonna go ahead and move this so you guys can see it closer. Can you guys hear my son, my toddler? He's already knocking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the onion and then I'm gonna go open the door for him. So you wanna flare it out so the onions are not stuck together. So basically you're just gonna flare them out. And there it is. Okay, so once you do that, before I mix it, what I do to this is I'm gonna add salt over the onion because salt helps it wilt, it helps it cook, it helps it soften. So I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. It's just a sprinkle of salt over the red onion, and I am going to mix it so the onion starts cooking with it. Okay, I was gonna go open the door for my husband, but for my son, but my husband got it. Okay, and this is gonna need cucumber as well, but the cucumber, my husband actually got, well, my father-in-law, he got us the Chinese cucumbers, I think that's what they're called. And these are a lot thinner. The skin is actually tender enough to eat like that. So what I'm gonna do is I always add this at the end when everything's cooked, when the sauce is already on, because we like the cucumber crispy. So that's gonna be at the end. So once I do the sauce, I will cut those for you guys. Okay, so that is, I'm just gonna let it cook. So I'm gonna set that to the side, and then I'm gonna bring over the blender so I can show you guys what I'm gonna add to my blender. Okay, so I'm gonna add a sprig of cilantro. It's just a bunch, it's not a lot. So we like it spicy, so I add a lot of serranos. I know some people use jalapenos. Sometimes I feel like jalapenos are not too spicy, so I'm gonna use about 4. We like it spicy, so this is why I'm adding 4, but you can always add jalapenos, or just use 2 or 3 of serranos. So I'm gonna cut off the tops. I'm going to add it to my blender. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them in half and then throw them in here. You don't have to cut them in half, but I'm cutting them in half. I don't want to make that much noise. My baby's still sleeping. Okay, and to that I'm gonna use about 1/4 of onion. I used this onion yesterday, and this is what was left over, so I'm just gonna use that, throw it in there. A large clove of garlic. I'm only using 1 because I'm only doing 2.5 pounds of shrimp, so I'm only gonna do 1. And then you're gonna use cumin. I'm only gonna do a small pinch, so it'll be like maybe a shake or 2, 3 shakes of cumin, and that's it. And to that I'm gonna add the rest of my lime juice. I remember I had a 1.5 cups. I'm gonna use the rest of that half in here to blend it. So while you guys are doing this, don't forget to mix your shrimp around. You guys want your onion to start cooking as well. And like I said, the longer the onion cooks, the more tender and sweet it's gonna get, and you guys are not gonna be able to taste the onion flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna put that on the side, and I'm gonna cover up my blender. Move my blender forward. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and plug my blender. Move it forward for you guys. I'm actually gonna move my phone a little bit up. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna start at let me mix it. Sorry guys, I like, you guys know how much, if you guys watch my videos, you guys know how much I love pickled purple onion. So I need to mix it because I like it cooked. At this point, guys, your shrimp is completely cooked. I don't know if you guys can see that. You guys can see it is completely pink all the way around. Obviously it's gonna have that that raw taste because Agua Chiles, that's what it is. Ceviche, that's what it is. It's raw shrimp cooked in lime juice. So if it tastes raw, it's because it's a ceviche style or an Agua Chile style. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it on, and I'm gonna blend my ingredients for the sauce. So I'm gonna start it, and I'm gonna gradually go. Okay, and that's it. And what I forgot to add was salt, but since I salted this earlier, I'm only gonna add a little shake, which is half a pinch. Whoa, that's spicy, guys. And what I was telling my husband the other day, I was cooking. Let me cover that up because that is spicy. I don't want my kids coughing. The accent salt, I use this a lot for my shrimp boil, and I've noticed that this is not to salt your food. It basically enhances the flavor that you're using in your dish. So the other day I forgot what I was cooking, and I have the big one from Costco. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. I showed the big old bottle that I bought at the business center, the Costco business center. I bought a big one, and I accidentally added it to my salt dispenser. I used the accent salt instead of the regular table salt. And I was cooking, and for some reason I needed salt, and I forgot that I had added the accent salt to my container. So as I was adding it to my dish, it wasn't salty. Like, it still needed salt. I could taste all the other flavors, but it still needed salt. It didn't have that salty flavor. So I kept adding it, and I'm like, why? I mean, it tastes good, but it needs salt. And then I remembered, oh, it's accent salt. It's not table salt. So I told my husband, if I knew this works. Like, I mean, it works. The other day I did a shrimp boil, and I forgot to add the salt. And I kept telling my husband, it needs something. Like, it's missing something. And then I remembered this, because I have this in here. But when I look at it, I think of it as it's salt, regular table salt. So that's why I take out the little one, just so I can remember. And it enhances, guys, the flavor of anything that you are cooking. If you want to taste the tomato more, if you want to taste just whatever it is that you want to enhance, this is the thing to go with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 shakes of this. A little goes a long way, guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and mix it around. Okay, and to that I'm gonna go ahead and add it to my mix. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna pour out a little bit of my juice, because I don't want it to be too watery. So I'm just gonna take the same where I squeezed my lemon, and I'm gonna go ahead and just scoop it out. I'm just gonna scoop out some of it. You can always add it back, because I mean, you have the shrimp flavor there, but I just want to see how much water it's gonna be. I like this dish spicy. I almost didn't do this video, guys, because this is my dad's favorite dish. He would always ask me to make it for him on his birthday, and unfortunately we lost him at the beginning of the year in January, and unfortunately today is his birthday. So I decided to make this dish for him, and that's why if I sound a little off, or I'm dozing off, or I'm forgetting things, it probably has to deal with that. But I decided to do the video because I've gotten a lot of requests for this dish. I eat it a lot. This is my favorite seafood style dish, Mexican seafood style dish, and I would get a lot of people asking me, requesting me how I make mine, and I just never got around to making it. And after this incident, I kind of did not want to do this dish anymore, because it reminded me of him, and it just, it's still fresh. But I decided to record it because I had a few people ask me, my recipe, what I add, how I do it. So since I was making it today already for his birthday, I decided to just record it And I do apologize if I do sound a bit off, if I, you know, if I don't sound like I'm all there. But now you guys know. So I'm doing this because I wanted to keep his tradition, even if he is no longer here with us. I want to keep the tradition of me making him his dish for his birthday. So yeah, so this is, just wanted to go out there and let you guys know if I'm not all there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix up the sauce since I put salt in it. I'm gonna back up the blender so you guys can see. Okay, so I'm gonna go, it's a thick consistency. This is why I wanted to take the lemon out, because even though it's thick, it's going to the seeds are completely blended, guys. Okay, if you have a Vitamix, you guys know it completely blends everything. I usually use it on my NutriBullet, but for some reason my NutriBullet is, something's wrong with it. I have no idea. We've already tried to fix it a few times. So as you guys can see, even a half a cup of lemon was a lot. If you guys can see, I don't like it too watery. You guys can see the bottom. I don't like it too watery, but then again, I like to dip my saltine crackers in it. Oh, I eat it with saltine crackers. I know some people eat it with regular tostadas, but that's to everyone's own preference. I like to eat it with saltines. I don't know how you guys eat it. My sister does both, but she likes to eat it in tostada as well. But hey, okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I already mixed it. You want to add your sauce when your shrimp is almost to maybe completely done. You do not want to put your sauce before the shrimp cooks, because it will stop the process and you're gonna have raw shrimp. So basically that is it. It is completely done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the cucumber. Sorry guys, I wanted to rinse out my blender, because I am going to do another video after this. I got a request for a dish, so I am actually going to make it for breakfast, and I am going to record it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take, these are Chinese cucumbers. If you guys are familiar with these, the skin is very it's tender, so you can use it like that. But what I'm going to do is, I am going to wash it off. My in-laws planted these. Those who know me know my kids love cucumber, and they planted about 10 cucumber plants, these in the back, and I think 2 of the regular ones. And we had cucumber a lot. Like, that plant gave us a lot of cucumbers. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash this, guys. Okay, so it's completely washed, and I'm just gonna take the tips off, put that in the trash. And then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take my knife, and I'm just gonna go like this. Chinese cucumber has sometimes has like little bumpy parts, and I like to just run my knife, and then you can, I mean, obviously if If you use regular cucumber, make sure you peel it because the skin is not, it's too tough. You won't be able to eat it. Plus, it has a very bitter taste. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this off. Okay, I'm done rinsing it off. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to just move this over here because it is super spicy. So then I'm going to show you guys, I'm just going to do, since this is a fairly thin cucumber, I'm going to do the cuts a little bit thicker. Yeah, if you're going to use regular cucumber, be sure to peel, take the peel off because it's not, you can't eat that. It's not a good flavor. So I'm just gonna use one cucumber. I took out two, but I feel like one is gonna be enough. They are fairly big, and the good thing about these is you don't have to peel them. The skin is super tender, and you can go ahead and just eat it like that. But like I said, if you don't have, if you're not using Chinese cucumber and you're using regular, please peel it because you won't be able to eat the skin on the other one. Okay, that is, I'm almost done. And Chinese cucumbers are very big, guys, so one goes a long way. So here is my cut up cucumber. So to that, I'm gonna see, it is completely done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, this is how we eat it because this is how my husband likes it. I'm gonna add half of the cucumbers. Like I said, if you're not using Chinese cucumbers, take the peel off. If you're using regular cucumbers, peel them before putting them inside and do them to a, not in between, not so thick and not so thin. But if you're using Chinese cucumbers, you can leave the peel on. The lemon will also cook the peel on the Chinese cucumbers. So once you add half, you're gonna go ahead and mix it. Like I said, I add the cucumber at the end because we like a little bite on the cucumber. So basically, and then right now I'm gonna dress it for you guys. I'm gonna put some on the side so I can dress it for you guys. Give me a second. Okay. So I got my plate to dress it up, and I got some avocados to put inside and to top it off once I'm done with them. So I'm gonna pick the softer one for the top and the firmer one to mix around in the dish. So I'm gonna split it in half. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut it in cubes. Okay, so my video cut off. So what I was saying is I'm gonna slit this one in longer cuts to put on top. So then I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, you know what? I'm gonna add salt. It came out spicy. Okay, I'm serving it how we eat it here, just on a plate. And then I'm gonna squeeze the avocado. Place it on top. And there you go, guys. I'm gonna finish up how I do this one. Basically, so here it is. If you guys want to see more recipes like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, or you can go ahead and leave me a comment on my social medias. I will go ahead and link it at the bottom, and I'll see you guys next time.